Welcome to our channel. Today's topic is historical examples of provoking world leaders and their consequences. World leaders are known to have immense power and control over their respective nations, which can be dangerous when provoked. Throughout history, we have seen numerous examples of leaders being provoked, which have led to significant consequences. In this video, we will be discussing some of the most notable examples of provocation and the consequences that followed. Our first example is one of the most significant events in human history, World War II. Adolf Hitler was the leader of Nazi Germany and was responsible for some of the worst atrocities in human history. Hitler was provoked by the Treaty of Versailles, which he believed was unfair to Germany. Hitler's response was to invade Poland, which started World War II. The consequences of this provocation were disastrous, with millions of people losing their lives and the world being plunged into chaos. Another example of provoking world leaders is the Cuban Missile Crisis. In 1962, the United States discovered that the Soviet Union had placed nuclear missiles in Cuba, just 90 miles from the U.S. mainland. President John F. Kennedy demanded that the missiles be removed, and the Soviet Union eventually backed down. This crisis had the potential to lead to a nuclear war between the two superpowers, which could have caused the destruction of the entire planet. The assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand is another example of provoking world leaders. The Archduke was the heir to the Austro-Hungarian throne and was assassinated by a Serbian nationalist in 1914. This event led to the outbreak of World War I, which resulted in the deaths of millions of people. The assassination of Franz Ferdinand was a significant provocation that led to a catastrophic chain of events that changed the course of history. The Korean War is another example of provoking world leaders. After World War II, Korea was divided into two parts, with the North being controlled by the Soviet Union and the South being controlled by the United States. In 1950, North Korea invaded South Korea, leading to a war that lasted for 3 years. The Korean War was a significant provocation that resulted in the loss of over 2 million lives. The Iraq War is another example of provoking world leaders. In 2003, the United States invaded Iraq, claiming that Saddam Hussein had weapons of mass destruction. The war lasted for over 8 years and resulted in the deaths of over 100,000 Iraqi civilians. The Iraq War was a significant provocation that had severe consequences for both the United States and Iraq. These are just a few examples of provoking world leaders and their consequences. It is essential to understand that provoking world leaders can have severe and long-lasting consequences that can affect millions of people. It is crucial for leaders to engage in diplomacy and peaceful negotiations to resolve conflicts rather than resorting to provocation and violence. The psychology of world leaders and how they may react to provocation. In this video, we will be discussing the psychological factors that influence world leaders when they are provoked and how their reactions can have significant impacts on international politics and diplomacy. To start, it is essential to understand that world leaders are not immune to emotional reactions, just like any other individual. They may react impulsively when provoked, which can have significant consequences. Psychologists suggest that several factors contribute to the reactions of world leaders when provoked. Let's explore some of these factors in detail. Firstly, the perceived threat to their power and position can make world leaders react aggressively when provoked. World leaders invest a considerable amount of time, resources, and effort to reach the position they hold. Any perceived threat to their power can trigger a reaction that is intended to protect their position. Secondly, the cultural and historical background of world leaders plays a crucial role in how they react to provocation. Culture shapes the way people perceive and respond to stimuli. Leaders from different cultures have different perceptions of what is acceptable behavior and what is not. Therefore, a provocation that may seem insignificant to one leader may be perceived as a significant threat to another leader. Thirdly, personality traits of world leaders can also contribute to their reactions when provoked. For example, leaders with an authoritarian personality may react more aggressively to perceived threats to their power and authority. On the other hand, leaders who are more collaborative and open-minded may be more inclined to find diplomatic solutions to issues that arise from provocation. Fourthly, the level of stress and pressure that world leaders experience can also contribute to their reactions when provoked. Leaders who are under high levels of stress may react more impulsively to provocations, whereas those who have a more balanced approach to stress may be able to remain calm and find diplomatic solutions. Finally, the nature of the provocation itself can also impact the reaction of world leaders. A provocation that threatens the safety and security of a country or its citizens is more likely to trigger a strong response than a provocation that does not. We will be exploring the legal implications of provoking world leaders and the potential consequences. In recent years, we have seen instances where world leaders have been provoked, leading to adverse consequences. Provoking a world leader can have severe legal implications and can cause significant harm to the global community. The legal implications of provoking world leaders primarily stem from the United Nations Charter. The Charter is a legally binding international treaty that sets out the principles of international relations and the responsibilities of member states. One of the fundamental principles of the Charter is the principle of non-interference in the internal affairs of other states. This principle is based on the idea of respecting the sovereignty of other nations. The Charter prohibits states from using force against other states except in cases of self-defense or when authorized by the Security Council. Therefore, any act that interferes with the internal affairs of another country or threatens its sovereignty can be considered illegal. Provoking a world leader can be viewed as an act of aggression, and the consequences can be severe. Under international law, an act of aggression is a crime that is punishable by law. The International Criminal Court, ICC, was established to investigate and prosecute individuals who commit crimes against humanity, including acts of aggression. If a world leader is provoked and responds with force, they may be in violation of international law. This can result in the imposition of economic sanctions, trade restrictions, and even military intervention by other states. Provoking a world leader can also result in the loss of diplomatic relations with other countries, leading to further isolation and political instability. The consequences of provoking world leaders can extend beyond legal implications. Provoking a world leader can lead to conflict and cause significant harm to the global community. In some cases, it can lead to war, loss of life, and the displacement of millions of people. The ripple effects of such actions can be felt for generations to come. The legal implications of provoking world leaders and the potential consequences are vast and far-reaching. It is essential to understand the impact of our actions on the global community and to respect the sovereignty of other nations. As citizens of the world, we must work towards peaceful coexistence and mutual respect, rather than provocation and aggression. Thank you for watching. If you found this video informative, please like, share, and subscribe to my channel for more thought-provoking content. Now discuss the impact of provoking world leaders on international trade and commerce. In recent years, we have seen several instances where world leaders have been provoked, resulting in economic repercussions. In this video, we will explore the implications of such actions and their impact on international trade and commerce. International trade is the exchange of goods and services between countries, and it is essential for the growth of the global economy. However, it is also vulnerable to external factors, such as political tensions and conflicts between nations. When world leaders are provoked, they may impose trade sanctions or tariffs on other countries, affecting the flow of goods and services between them. A recent example of such provocation is the ongoing trade dispute between the United States and China. In 2018, the U.S. imposed tariffs on several Chinese goods, triggering retaliatory measures by China. The result was a full-blown trade war between the two countries, with each imposing tariffs on billions of dollars worth of goods. The impact of this trade war was felt not just in the U.S. and China, but across the globe. The tariffs disrupted global supply chains, causing prices to rise and leading to a reduction in trade volume. Several countries, including Canada and Mexico, also suffered as they were caught in the crossfire of the trade war between the US and China. To the trade war. Another example of provocation is the sanctions imposed by the United States on Iran. In 2018, the US withdrew from the Iran nuclear deal and reimposed sanctions on Iran. These sanctions targeted the country's oil exports, leading to a reduction in its revenue and a significant impact on its economy. As a result, several countries that relied on Iranian oil, such as India and China, had to find alternative sources of oil, leading to a shift in global oil trade. Furthermore, the impact of provoking world leaders is not limited to just trade and commerce. In some cases, it can also affect foreign investment. For instance, when tensions rise between countries, investors may become hesitant to invest in affected regions, leading to a decline in foreign investment. Provoking world leaders can have a severe impact on international trade and commerce. It can lead to trade wars, sanctions, and disruptions in global supply chains, causing prices to rise and leading to a reduction in trade volume. Moreover, it can also affect foreign investment, leading to a decline in economic growth. Therefore, it is essential for world leaders to exercise caution and diplomacy when dealing with their counterparts to avoid such negative consequences. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel for more informative content.